Oh yeah, this is a key point in the uh, restaurant subquest. You eating a terrible meal and having your satiation reduced.
I think I was pretty mad when that happened. it, it might be good that I lost the commentary on this video, because it might just be a string of obscenity.
I mean, it's funny from my perspective because it happened to me too. It's just I think it's just one of those things that all roguelike players sort of enjoy. This kind of Schadenfreude from seeing what happens to everybody else, knowing that you've been there yourself.
Yeah,
You know,
I
you know
can
what I
see
mean?
that. Unfortunately, every time I go into a roguelike discussion, I'm always the least experienced player at the table, so I'm always the butt of the jokes, so to speak. So yeah, that's what I was doing here. Is I used the light scroll because they were like, "Oh, there's treasure in the mine." So I got to the mine and I have a pickaxe and I'm trying to find this treasure now.
Uh, there's a floor later on that I always like to save my light scrolls for, or at least one light scroll for. It's pretty late, but it's a floor that you usually want to get off as quickly as possible.
Oh yeah. See,
I
floor 7 in this version is like that forest floor, because it has minions of death and it has the ghost guys, and it's like that's a terrible combination.
Yeah, that's a combination that still exists in the DS version on that floor.
Yes,
Um,
this isn't the first time that I made it past floor 7 in the run, but it I was stalled there for a long time.
But yeah, there's the later floor that I'm talking about. I'm not sure what it's called in this version. It's called the Ravine of Illusions in the DS version.
Mhm.
But it's a floor that's populated with the promoted forms of both those guys and the spellcasters.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, that
So
sounds
unless
really
you've genocided the spellcasters beforehand, you
bad. So
usually
it's kind of like floor 7 on crack, basically.
kind of, yeah.
Wow.
There are also a few other monsters that are kind of annoying there, but those two are the big ones.
Yeah, that sounds just awful. Because I'm trying to do a full clear of each floor, because that's the roguelike standard, is you never know what's going to be in the next room.
Yeah,
You have to look in the next, because it might be something amazing and you don't want to miss it. But at
yeah.
the
I
same
think
time, you get those floors where you really have to get away very quickly.
yeah, I think that's one of the big differences between this game and NetHack. In NetHack, you can usually survive a full clear of a floor because if nothing else, you can just sort of start drawing Elbereth
Yeah.
and um, in a lot of other roguelikes, though, you kind of have to get an intuition for when it's time to just call it quits, abandon the floor, get out while you're still
Yeah,
alive.
time to cut your losses. And no, I think I'm slowly learning that. Well, I learned that lesson in the previous session when I was tugging that little girl around, and that's like I kept pushing my luck and pushing my luck, and oh, I can't wait to see the comments on that video because it's gonna be like, "You're an idiot! What are you doing?"
But yeah, it kind of varies from roguelike to roguelike. Like in The Binding of Isaac, you usually want a full clear. In NetHack, you usually want a full clear. In
Well, in Isaac, not only do you want to do a full clear, but there are some floors like where you can really like game the system with a certain
Oh.
combination of items.
oh jeez, please don't remind me about. Well, you already have reminded me, so I guess it's too late. But I'm thinking about the Luckfoot plus the shell game.
Oh yeah, see, it's like you walk into I hate arcades in Isaac because the optimal plan in an arcade is basically to just be bored for 20 minutes.
I have spent once out of just morbid curiosity, I spent an entire hour in an arcade.
Wow.
It didn't help that I was encountering some pretty monster slowdown because the whole floor was just covered in hearts.
Oh, God.
But I think I was farming soul hearts at that point because that was the run that I had taken that was the singular run where I took the dead cat.
Oh God, here's the little girl. I hate her so much. You'll see why when I upload the video.
Well, you only have to do this once.
Thank God. because if I get stuck here doing this event over and over, I'm gonna claw my eyes out.
Oh, I don't know if you knew this, but this is... Oh, tank.
I hate these guys. And now he's
Oh,
closer to my allies, which is excellent for me.
Yeah, so he's gonna run away from you, not the ally. Switching staff is actually one of the more powerful escape tools in this game.
It's gotten me out of a couple of scrapes.
Yeah, if you paralyze it, or if you paralyze an enemy and then swap places with him, you can just kind of run away from him.
And then this staff here, I think it's called the unlucky staff, actually. But it's gotten me out of a couple of scrapes too.
Oh, that's... In the DS version, that one actually doesn't appear outside of the post-game dungeons.
Really?
Yeah, I have never seen that one appear outside of Phase Final Problem.
Oh, and just for the record, viewers, I'm not playing the bonus dungeon. Once I clear and get the golden con, that's it. I'm done. That's the end of the game.
I would not ask you to do Phase Final Problem. That game makes pretty much any other roguelike I've ever played seem like a sissy game in comparison. It is brutal.
So this song right here, this is Cedar Woods from Breath of Fire 3. And a little bit of backstory about this song is because the first 10 seconds or so are virtually identical to the Guardia Forest in Chrono Trigger. And
I almost put that song in the playlist.
Which one, Cedar Woods or Guardia Forest?
Guardia Forest.
I think I put it in later on because I just ran out of stuff to... But it was just literally this morning that my brain clicked and realized that those two songs were different songs. It's like... Because neither of those games are games that I really replay a lot. So I hear the song and it just kind of registers, oh yeah, forest level, I'm fine. So I probably...
Another thing is, it seems like those egg monsters are a lot more more common in
those
this.
little bastards are everywhere. And it was a while before I realized they always dropped rice balls when you killed them.
Yeah, they always... Is that a shop? I think that's a shop up there.
I do believe it is, yes. I don't remember if there was anything good up there, but...
Well,
because shops won't generate in the dungeon until about this point. I've never seen a shop early in the dungeon.
Yeah, I think they only generate in these room and corridor type levels.
Okay, well yeah, that makes sense. But you can kind of see that I had high hopes for this run because I left the first town with all this great gear. You can guess how that'll end.
Yeah, just as a little point of interest,
Where'd my little
I don't
girl
know.
go?
I don't know if this is I don't know if this will. I don't want to spoil too much, but there's actually a phase problem later on that requires you to rob a shop.
Oh, nice. No, I haven't encountered that one yet. Well, and spoilers don't really bother me in because usually when I'm playing a roguelike, NetHack or Isaac or whatever, it's like I spoil myself rotten because I kind of consider that I need every advantage I can get. But I haven't done that with Shiren. I have not looked.
Okay, I have to interrupt for just a moment because I'm a little bit bewildered by that monster above the shopkeeper. That's an item mimic. Usually they look like items. I've never seen them just in the wild like that.
Oh, so it's supposed to look like an item? It's supposed to look like an M in NetHack?
Yeah, well, no, they actually work differently. Because you pick it up and it's an item in your inventory and it doesn't reveal itself until you try to use it.
That is awful! Why would you do that to a player?
Well, it doesn't reveal itself until you try to use it or until you change floors.
Wow.
When you go to the next floor, it'll show up in your inventory as whatever it's called.
Oh, see, I did figure out how to sell stuff. I probably figured it out right there, actually. I can sell weeds to this guy. Here, have some weed. So, okay, I remember this scene now because
the jokes write themselves.
Because I was in a good mood now because I just thought that my little girl had died, so I was all upset because I don't know where she is. But I got to the shop and figured out how to sell stuff. So It was kind of like a pick-me-up.
Yeah, let's see here.
It's a roller coaster of emotions, these roguelikes.
Oh yeah, there's another thing. Another thing I want to mention is that monster meat. So one of the there are a few interesting properties of meat. I think I don't know if you've kind of discovered more of them, but you sort of I think your experience with the boya meat kind of sold you short on it.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly.
There are some really interesting uses for meat. Like, I think that was Kimen Musha meat there.
Mm-hmm.
When you eat meat, you take on all of the properties of the monster. And in the case of, like, the Kimen Musha, who comes back as a ghost when he gets killed, this means that you're effectively wearing an amulet of life-saving.
Well, one of the reasons that it soured me on it is because a boya is a particularly weak monster.
Yeah. But the other really good use for meat is that you can throw it at a monster and that monster will become whatever the meat was.
Right, I didn't know. Well, the part of it is that meat is so rare. Oh, look, she's back, and she just had somewhere to be, I guess. But I haven't seen a lot of meat in the dungeon, so I haven't had a lot of chance to play around with it.
It's pretty rare. I don't know if the Bufu staff is more common in this version, but it's a staff that instantly converts an enemy into meat.
And here I was trying to figure out if I had lost her, or why she teleported in front of me, or what's going on. Because having a lot of followers, I guess they only follow you downstairs if they're next to you or close to you.
No, they follow you downstairs always. It's just that they get separated from you on a floor pretty easily, because if there's ever an NPC that gets between the two of you, they can't shove them aside.
Ah, yeah, that made sense. And these little stupid harpies that curse you, God, those are annoying. That's the first monster I found that can curse you at all. And it was obnoxious.
The thing about Shiren's monsters is that most monsters, they all kind of tend to have the same health and the same attack power, but with just like one little gimmick to them.
Mm-hmm.
So their gimmick is that they can curse your items.
Yeah, so why I didn't learn my lesson the first time I got cursed by one of those assholes, I don't know, but the other monster that is giving me a lot of problems on this floor still are the pumpkin head monsters.
Yeah, those ones are they're kind of annoying, but you can usually just kind of walk away from them easily.
Well, the problem is they can phase through walls, and while they're standing on a wall tile, they're untargetable by anything.
Yeah. As it so happens, that property makes them one of the most valuable forms of meat.
Oh, you see, right here, here's one. It's like, I'm trying to attack this guy, and he's like, I'm in a wall, screw you. So I think I tried to let my old man deal with it, but he wasn't having any of it.
Another thing. Oh, I was just about to ask if you knew about that. Although sometimes when you do that, he reduces your health by 10 points. So you don't want to do that if you're near death.
I will keep that in mind. Although in that particular situation, I don't think I had a choice. I think it was like that or nothing.
Well, it can be that, or sometimes if you're at like 10 health, or at 13 health or something, and it's a choice, and you're at the point where you're about ready to eat a healing herb. You can do that, and see if you can just get the massage, see if you got your full health, and if you didn't, then you resort to your healing herb.
Gotcha. Well, I was really disheartened here because... So I guess what you're saying is that my old man and the little girl I just got separated. They're somewhere else on this floor right now?
They should be.
Because I was certain when I got here that I had left them behind because they weren't standing on the tiles next to the stairs where I descended. So at this point I was like, I don't even care if I die. Screw this game. Screw life. Whatever.
Oh, are you still using just like attacking thin air to rest?
I think so. That's the only way I found to advance a turn without moving.
In the DS version at least, if you hold down A and B together, it will just cause time to pass quickly.
Oh, no, see, I haven't tried anything like that. I guess next time I do a session, I'll try that out and see if it works.